Have you heard of the Archangel Michael, right? The classic image, sword, battle, dragon, war in heaven. And that's it. In many people's minds, the conversation ends there. But today, I want to ask you a question that changes everything. What if strength in the spiritual world doesn't mean who hits the hardest, but rather who carries the most authority, mission, and impact? Because when you change the criteria, you discover something. Michael is huge, but Michael is not the only one. And stay with me until the end, because number 1 is the most well-known. But number 3 is the one most underestimated, and he appears when life is on the edge. Just a quick note, to be fair and not make things up. In the canonical Bible, few angels appear with their own name. Even so, there are ancient lists in old Jewish and Christian texts that speak of 7 main angels with specific roles. One example is the Book of Enoch, which names and assigns tasks to 7 of them. And in the Book of Tobit, Raphael introduces himself as one of the 7 who stand before God. So what I'm going to do here is simple and honest. I will show you 7 angels that stand out in ancient texts, making it clear what is from the Bible, what is deuterocanonical, accepted in traditions like Catholic and Orthodox, and what comes from ancient traditions, apocrypha. And then you decide, do you want to see this as historical curiosity, as tradition, or as a comparative study? Deal? So let's go to the ranking. And already comment below when you hear strongest angels. Which name comes to your mind first? 7. Remiel, the strength that lifts those who have fallen. This name is rarely mentioned, and because of that, it captures attention. In the Book of Enoch, Remiel is cited as one of the holy angels and assigned an intriguing function. He is placed over those who rise. Wikisource. Now think about the weight of this idea. We associate strength with war. But there is a type of strength that is even deeper, the strength that makes someone rise when everything said it was the end. And here I'm not talking about magic nor a formula. I'm talking about symbol and function. Remiel represents this axis of restoration, return, rebuilding. And this is powerful because it deals with what most brings people down. Discouragement, guilt, the feeling of it's over. If you have ever gone through this, you understand. Standing up requires more strength than appearing strong. And keep this idea in mind, because when we get to the top 3, you'll realize that the strongest are not the ones who make the most noise. They are the ones who carry the heaviest missions. Hook for the next part. And if there is an angel over those who rise, there is also one who deals with an even more invisible problem. What happens when the mistake is not just in what you do, but in what you become inside? 6. Sariel, authority over the invisible and inner conflict. In the same passage from the Book of Enoch, a name appears with variations depending on the translation. Raguel, Sariel. And the assigned role is significant. He is placed over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Wikisource. This phrase is dense because it doesn't just talk about external error, visible behavior, what everyone sees. It speaks of what happens inside, intention, corruption, inner deviation. And if there's one thing hard to govern, it's what no one sees. Here's a point that greatly increases video retention, so pay attention. Many people look for powerful angels as if it were a curiosity theme. But these ancient texts treat power as governance, order, responsibility. Sariel represents this layer. He is not the angel of the spectacle. He is the angel of control over the invisible, of what messes up the human being from within. And now I ask you, what is stronger, holding a sword or holding a line that separates internal chaos from order? If you're enjoying this more serious approach, comment order down here, because I can make a part 2 solely about angelic hierarchy and why archangel is not synonymous with any angel. Cliffhanger for the next part, but there is an even heavier role than governing the invisible, being an instrument of justice. And this next name is practically unknown to the public, but his mission is terrifying. 5. Raguel, the weight of justice, and why this is strength. In the book of Enoch, Raguel is presented as one of the holy angels, and his description involves the idea of punishment, justice. Wikisource. And here I need to be very clear. This is not about going around thinking that an angel is vengeance or creating spiritual paranoia. It's not that. The idea in these texts is that there is an order in the cosmos, and when this order is broken, there is also a principle of accountability. Raguel is associated with the concept of adjusting what went out of place. And why would this be strength? Because justice is not emotion. Justice is weight. Justice is upholding a standard when the entire world is trying to negotiate this standard. And this touches a nerve of our time. We live in an era where everything is opinion, everything is relative, everything is it depends. And at the same time, everyone misses something that is firm. Raguel symbolizes this. Firmness, righteousness, consequence. And if this part bothers or provokes you, perfect, because a video that makes you think generates comments. So write down justice or mercy. Which one do you think is harder to uphold? Hook for the next. Now, if there is justice, there is also knowledge. And number 4 is one of the most intriguing names because he appears in ancient texts as the angel who answers impossible questions. 4. Uriel, when doubt turns into proof. This name is very famous on the internet, but few people know where it comes from. In the book of Enoch, Uriel is described as one of the holy angels and placed over the world and also over a reality associated with the underworld, in some translations, Tartarus. Wikisource. And there's more. In 2 Esdras, also known as 4 Ezra in some traditions, the text presents an angel who talks to Esdras, and his name is Uriel. Bible Gateway. And what does he do there? He doesn't arrive with a sword. He arrives with questions, with limits, with tests. He confronts the human anxiety of wanting to understand everything, control everything, solve everything. This is very relevant today, because today we are addicted to quick answers. But the deepest things in life do not fit into a quick answer. Uriel symbolizes light not as beautiful brightness, but as painful clarity, the kind of clarity that forces you to grow. And here comes a mini hook within the hook. If you think that a strong angel is an angel that fights, Uriel shows you the opposite. An angel can be strong because he upholds the truth when you want to run from it. Hook for the top 3. Because now we enter the 3 names that changed entire cultures. And the next one is one that many people know, but almost no one understands the depth. 3. Raphael, the power that heals and the detail of the 7. If you came for the title 7 Strongest Angels, pay attention to this point because it is crucial. In the book of Tobias, Raphael reveals himself and says, essentially, that he is Raphael, and that he is among the 7 angels who stand before God, ready to serve him. Bible Gateway +2, Bible Study Tools +2. This is significant because it links the idea of 7 angels, not only to ancient tradition, but also to a text that is valued in various Christian communities, though it is not found in all Protestant Bibles. And what is Raphael's hallmark in this story? Healing, guidance, protection on the journey. And let's be honest, many people want a Michael because they like the image of war. But what most people need on a daily basis is a Raphael, someone who accompanies you on the journey, helps you through the process, and brings restoration. And that too is strength, because healing is not cute. Healing demands dealing with pain, with time, with truth, with reconstruction. Raphael represents a kind of strength that doesn't go viral like a sword, but sustains an entire life. And now I open a retention loop. If Raphael is one of the 7, and Enoch lists 7 names, then why do most people only remember Michael and Gabriel? The answer lies in the type of mission each one carries. And number 2 is the angel of messages that change destinies. Gabriel, when God wants to turn the page, he appears. Gabriel is one of the most solid names when we talk about biblical references. In the book of Daniel, there is a clear command calling Gabriel to explain a vision. Bible Gateway +1. And in the Gospel of Luke, Gabriel is sent with a decisive message. He is cited as the angel sent to Nazareth to speak with Mary. Bible Gateway +2, Bible Hub +2. In other words, Gabriel is not just any angel. He appears at moments of historical turning points, when a revelation needs to be delivered, when something needs to be announced, when the plan advances. And this is what I call impact power. Strength is not just who wins a fight. Strength is who carries the message that changes the course. Because think with me, a word can start a movement. A message can lift a person. An announcement can redefine the future. And that is why Gabriel is so powerful. He is linked to the axis revelation, understanding, fulfillment. Now hold on to that thought, because here comes the for one. And yes, he is the most famous one, but I will show you why. Even being the for one, he does not nullify the others. On the contrary, he completes the picture. Uriel, Michael, the warrior prince, but not the only strong one. Now we come to the name almost everyone was expecting. In Daniel, Michael appears as one of the chief princes who comes to aid in a spiritual conflict related to kingdoms and resistance. Bible Gateway +2, Bible Hub +2. And in Revelation, Michael is shown leading a battle in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. Bible Gateway +1. This is the imagery that dominates films, art, sermons, short videos. Michael is war, defense, protection, leadership in spiritual confrontation. And it is completely understandable that he is the first name that comes to mind when someone says strong angel. But here is the central point of the video, the phrase that ties everything together. Michael is extremely strong, but strength in the spiritual realm is a set of functions, not a single character. Michael represents defense, Gabriel represents the message, Raphael represents healing, Uriel represents clarity, Raguel symbolizes justice, Sariel points to the governance of the invisible, Remiel reminds of restoration and uplifting. And then you understand why Michael is not the only one, because the spiritual world in the vision of these texts does not revolve around just one type of power. There is power that confronts, there is power that reveals, there is power that heals, There is power that adjusts. There is power that sustains. And this changes the way you view the theme of strongest angels. Now I want to hear from you and answer in the comments, because I read and it becomes part of the discussion. Which of these 7 surprised you the most? And more, when you think of strength, do you think of war, healing, message, justice, or clarity? If you want a part 2, I can make it on the theme. Angel hierarchy, seraphim, cherubim, archangels, and what is Bible versus tradition? And to not miss the next one, subscribe, because the next video might be exactly the missing piece for you to understand why there is so much confusion on the internet about archangels. See you next time.